Hello, everybody. Good morning, everyone. Today we will be following the Caravel Cup tournament in Rome, where Pietro is playing. I'm Luca, I'm from Italy, so yes, it's the same place where the tournament is located, but Rome is super far from me, so I don't know how the tournament is. Pietro is playing super well. Yesterday he won the 5th round, so he bring him to 2 points out of 5. And today he will be facing a player, practically with the same elo, a guy from Italy. The difference of the elo is super minimal, and so we can expect a pretty balanced game. But Pietro is in a great shape, so let's see if he can play a super good tournament and bring home another win. So an interesting fact is the yesterday opponent, played also against today's opponent. So it's super important to understand what our today opponent did during the tournament, because the elo is super close to Pietro. So Leonardo has 2 points too, and he won also against the opponent that Pietro beat yesterday. So Leonardo is definitely not someone to underestimate, and yeah, the game will start in a few minutes. So we just wait. I can maybe show you. Um, I can maybe show you the details about the tournament, because I think can be super good for you for understand everything about the tournament, no? So let me show you everything, just a few seconds. Just a few seconds. Just a few seconds. Okay, here we are. Caravel Cup. Open A. Okay, and they are the players that are still playing. Okay, well, maybe I can minimize my camera. And this is the tournament. So this is an Italian website. Maybe I can change the language in English, so it's better for everyone. And yeah, there are a lot of GMs, some international master. The tournament is a really, really strong tournament, especially the Group A, because there are a lot of strong people. And yeah, in the chessboard number 7, there are 2 people around 1700 elo. Leonardo, Pietro's opponent. Hello. Pietro opponent, and also Pietro. And it's crazy because all the other people around chessboard number 7, they are candidate master or master. In Italy, the elo is a little bit different because we have a lot of categories. Okay, I don't want to say every 100 point, but close to that, because as you can see, close to the name of the people, you can see M, that is master, like in FIDE. And also, for example, Leonardo, the Pietro's opponent. Yeah. Pietro is playing in a few minutes. The game is not started, so when they start, I can share the game, of course. So I just showing you the info about the tournament at the moment. And as you can see, for example, Leonardo has 2N close to his name because we have a lot of categories, and his category is between 16 and 1800 elo. And all the other people, for example, in chessboard number 8, is a candidate master, but is different candidate master in Italy and candidate master for FIDE, because for FIDE you need to arrive to 2200 elo, and in Italy for getting the candidate master title you need to arrive to 2000, so it's a little bit different. Yeah, that's all. That's all. Oh, wait. Okay, here we are. And yeah, that's all about the tournament. And yeah, as you can see, Pietro is playing super well because there are a lot of candidate master and people around 2000 elo that they are in chessboard number 8, 9, 10, 11, etc. No? But here we are, and now I can start to showing you. Closing this one. That is not necessary. And I think I can start to showing you the Pietro, because he's sitting down at the moment, and we need also to put in the delay, unfortunately. So we will start after some minutes when they really start the game. Hello? Today is playing with black pieces. What he did during the tournament with black? He played against candidate master Francario Felice Maria 2087, and he unfortunately lost. He also played against the French guy close to 2000, 1981, yesterday in the morning, and he also unfortunately lost. And let's see if he finally can get his first win during this tournament. And talking also about the tournament, talking about all the other stuff, about, for example, the performance and the elo variation that he's getting is super high, because the performance rating at the moment is 1949. So more than 2000 elo, higher than the elo that he has now. And also, talking about the elo variation is plus 48. So if Pietro doesn't play this round and he quit the tournament now, he will arrive to 1758. So he will get a lot of elo. You normally has to play a lot of tournament for arriving to that elo variation, normally, if you play good tournament or medium tournaments. But now he's getting a lot of elo. And if he can win this game, I suppose he will get 15 points, because his opponent is super close to him. So I suppose he's plus 15. Oh, wait. Okay. They play the Sicilian, unfortunately. I show you the first two moves, but we have to wait 15 minutes. So, yeah. With the Sicilian defense, there are a lot of main lines, so not some nothing some strange played in the first move, but there are some good lines that I prefer. For example, played after knight c3, knight c6, f4, the Grand Prix attack. I would like to see this opening. I think it's not easy to see that, because it's not so common to see the Grand Prix line. But there are also... Okay, let's check which is the most normal move played with this specific opening. Because, okay, Sicilian is probably the most played opening in the entire chessboard. And I think the most played move is knight f3 in this situation. There is knight c6 and d4. This is the most common line. D takes, knight takes, and knight f6 and knight c3. This is the most common line. And I also would like to check how many moves they did, all in preparation, because I check the first moves played in the first rounds, and I also saw that Pietro is playing super well, especially in the opening and in the middle game. Okay, he did some mistakes, but the level of his player is super high, so it's super hard also playing a full game with this specific yeah, accuracy percentile. Um, yeah, let's see if he continue to play super well, because okay, today's opponent Tilo is not so high like the previous players. And okay, I don't want to say that it's strange playing against a 1700 around number 5 with 2 to 5, because okay, it means that his opponent is still playing super well too. And yeah, now I suppose they don't they are super prepared, especially in the opening, and I also suppose they play super good opening, and super hard match for everyone. Especially in this period, it's super hard to play against people that doesn't know how to play the opening and the middle games. Especially if you play against young people, they are super prepared, especially in the opening, because they know every specific line, every single line, every single move, and it's super hard to winning against them in the opening. I starting to play 20 years ago. Oh, probably more than that. I'm 33 at the moment, and I started to play when I was 12, 11. I don't remember exactly, maybe less than that. I don't remember exactly. And yeah, in that period, especially in Italy, because I'm from Italy, the chess level was super, but really super low. When I played Italian chess championship, under 18, when I was in the under 18 Italian championship, the winner was a master. Now, a master can arrive around the 15th position, and he was only the only one. Now the chess level is increased a lot, so it's super beautiful seeing good players increase so much, and seeing young people, young people um, having a lot of philo. I don't know, to be honest, who is Pietro opponent. Okay, I don't know if he's 15, 20, 25. I don't know. So we will see in a few seconds. Just 10 minutes more, and we can start to check the game and check what he can do. What he can do. E4 c5. E4 c5. Okay, the Sicilian, to be honest, it's not my favorite opening. I know, because okay, playing the Sicilian, you need to be super focused on that opening, because everyone play the Sicilian. Me no, but everyone play the Sicilian, and everyone knows the first, I don't know, 10 moves, and it's super hard to find a way for winning easily, especially in the first part of the game. But if you continue, and if you arrive, well, in a good situation, and if, for example, play some strange lines, you can arrive in a good shape, and yeah, you can destroy your opponent. It's not important winning in the opening, never, never. And it's super hard, and it's super strange winning in the opening, because it means that your opponent doesn't know the opening. And at the level, if people are playing the Group A tournament, it's super hard. They doesn't know how to play that move. Caravel Cup in Rome is, I suppose, the first edition of this tournament, and yeah, the prices are incredible, incredible prices, and the organization, I think, is super good. And yeah, especially because if you organize a tournament and if this is the your first edition, and there are grandmasters that are playing your tournament, it means that your tournament is organized really good. Okay, Rome is probably one of the most beautiful city. Okay, it depends about people. You can prefer Paris, Barcelona, New York, etc. But Rome is a super good city, and you can also having holiday, just not playing still chess, but you can continue to do other things too. No? So guys, how many minutes? Uh, at 52, so just 80 minutes, we can start and see what Pietro opponent started to play. Okay, we said the most common move here is knight f3, but people also can play knight c3 as I show you, and after knight c6 they can play f4, f4 or g3, depends. There are a lot of lines that they can play. But also knight f3 or knight c3 are the most common, but there is some strange opening with c3 for playing d4 and try to destroy and getting the center also for white. So for example, knight f6, not d4 immediately because we will lose a pawn, but e5, knight d5 and d4, c takes, d takes, and that's pretty good for white. But okay, it seems more an Alpine than another opening. So just going back. Yeah, it's difficult to find other. Okay, white, if you want to play something strange, can play d4. Okay, here there is just one move. Queen. Okay, there is c takes, queen takes, sorry, but also c3. D takes c3 and knight takes c3, so having an extra tempo advantage with this specific line. But I don't know if it's so good for white, because okay, you're getting a tempo, but you lost a pawn in the center. Okay, you are getting the center, but you have not another pawn for getting the center better, no? So yeah, it depends. It depends about what Pietro opponent would like to play. I suppose if I have to bet something, I put all my money on knight f3 because everyone play knight f3. But maybe Pietro opponent can surprise us. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. In just 6 minutes. 6 minutes. And we can arrive to see what he played. Or he played. Unfortunately, okay, I have to tell you there is the delay because normally in the tournament people doesn't want to having problems. What does it mean? What means having problem? Having problem means okay, especially in Italy, the arbiter are scared to well, to cheating because they think that streamers cheat. And I explain them that if you're streaming, if you're recording yourself, how can you cheat? You are in front of a camera. If I'm cheating, you can see me that I'm checking my moves. It's totally the opposite of cheating. But step by step we can arrive. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. In 5 minutes, we will start to see the game. We will start to see the game. Okay, okay, guys. Let's try to guess which will be white next move, because there is the delay. I unfortunately showed you the first move for white and black, but okay, it's not a problem. And now we have to guess which is next white move. I said normally moves are knight f3 or knight c3, but there are also millions of moves that white can do. So let's try to guess which will be white next move. If you will say knight f3 or knight c3, you cannot play so easily. c3, you're saying c3. Will be funny playing c3. Will be funny seeing c3 for white. I don't think they will play something other strange move like d3 or, well, I don't know, knight e2. There are super and incredible strange. Bishop e2 maybe, or g3. In the database, the most common is like 10 times more than the second one is knight f3. So I suppose it will be the most playable move here. After that, knight c3, c3, d4, immediately d4, b3 for opening the fianchetto in the queen side. On the queen side, c5, yes, sorry. Yeah, there is also knight e2 played in 5,000 games. Yes, correct. They are the most common played. Okay, it's super hard also saying the second move. Okay, it's harder to say move number 10, for example, because you have also to analyze the position, understand the position. If you are still in this position, it's super easy to guess the first move. But to checking the chess.com database, knight f3, there are 679,000 games. Knight f3, 78,000 games. And c3, 59,000 games. After that, d4, 10,000 games. 5,000 b3 and d3. Okay, a lot of other nonsense move. Like there is also a3 with a3, 1,600 games. So 1,600 people played a3 with second move here. Incredible. And I'm just checking the master games, of course, not for everyone. Otherwise, I have to check on, well, maybe ChessBase or, yeah, ChessBase. 1 minute, 1 minute, and we can start. 1 minute, and we can start. Unfortunately, the delay needs to give us some minute. Oh, okay, we can start. We can start, and we can check the game all together. They shaking the hands after the first move. Oh, good move, good move. Good move, Pietro. Now your opponent can lose a lot of time. Yes, great. And let's see, I suppose he will play immediately. No. He's getting time for the second move. It's strange because, okay, if he's doing that, probably he would like to play something strange. So, not knight f3 or knight c3. Oh, come on, he plays c3 really. He played really c3. Okay, I don't know because I'm not playing the Sicilian. I don't know if they play. Oh wait, I can also show you a funny thing. The time control. Wait. Give me just some seconds. And I can show you also the time that the player says. Oh, Pietro played. Just a second, guys. Just a second. And we will check everything all together. Okay. Here we are. Okay, Pietro played knight f6. And here the most common line is e5, so the opponent played e5. And here what's... Oh, knight e5, yeah. d4. C takes and C takes. And d6. Yes. Here we are. Here we are. Opponent played immediately. He's playing super immediately knight f3, the most common move here. And here the most common move, there are like 10 times more, yes, immediately played by Pietro, knight c6. And here we are. This is the position. This is the position. And let me check. Okay. Black. Okay, his white move. And now he can just develop a piece, for example, playing bishop c4 or knight c3. But knight c3, there is pawn take, knight takes c3, queen takes d8. Okay, there is a lot of simplification there. And here the pawn structure is better for black, no? Right, let me delete some moves because I put also a lot of first move in the database, and now I have to delete every single ones. So sorry. Okay, here we are, knight c6. Knight c6. Okay, and now Pietro opponent starting to play because he lost a lot of time because I suppose he wasn't at the chessboard when the game started. Okay, it's obviously not a problem. But now he's starting to thinking, but in this position there are just one single move that white can play is bishop c4 because you can getting an extra tempo attacking the opponent knight, developing a piece, and now black is forced to play, for example, knight b6, no? Getting another tempo. And after that one, for example, you can try to simplify the position. And that's all. I suppose they're the only one move. If, for example, white just play that one, you can just try to take in there. And if you take by pawn, for example, okay, you can just start to play g6 and try to attack in that pawn because it's not defended by the d pawn. And there another option, but I don't think he will play bishop e2 because bishop e2 is a super defensive move. And yeah, it's it's not so good for white at the moment. The only one I think is that one, bishop c4. Also, knight c3 can be another option because if black can will take, you can take by the b pawn and getting a super good pawn structure in the center. But I also don't know. I don't think, to be honest, that black will go to taking the c3 pawn in that way. So now we have just to wait what Pietro opponent start to thinking, and especially if in the opening your opponent start to thinking for so much time. Okay, breakfast for Pietro. If one of the two players start to think a lot, especially in the opening, like I did a lot of times ago, it means 1 year ago, it means that you are not so you don't feel so comfortable with the opening, and so it means you can need to calculate every single move, and it means that you have also to spending a lot of time that if you know the opening normally, you have not to spend, no? Bishop c4, yeah, is the move played by white. Bishop c4. Okay, and now, first of all, let's see if Pietro will finish the breakfast first. Yes, 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 you can, of course. Where are you from? Because in Italy, okay, I don't know abroad. Maybe in Europe, I played in other countries, but in Spain, in Portugal, and yeah, you can. Okay, now which move is the best for black in this position? The most common is knight b6 because you are getting another extra tempo, moving the knight, not allowing the opponent to castle, because I suppose next move for white is castle. And going with knight b6, you are at b6. You're attacking the bishop. Attacking the bishop, and attacking the bishop, your opponent is forced to yeah, to moving the bishop or defending the bishop. The score is 2 out of 5. So it's super good because this tournament, the level of this tournament is really high. So it's super good for Pietro getting 2 points out of 5. And now he have a good chance for arriving to the 50% of the point, because if he will win, well, wait, because he's playing. What did he play? Wait. Oh, he took the pawn. He took the pawn. D takes 25. Yeah, it's pretty good anyway. It's pretty good anyway. Now there is a super simplification. Because, for example, if white will play this and you go on b6, queen take d8, knight takes d8. Yeah, there is something like that, probably. And yeah, this is move that depends. And you can go, for example, on d5 just to prevent knight c7. And yeah, you trade the queens and we have that move number 12, no? And now depends on Pietro opponent what he wanna do. Okay, he took the pawn. Took the pawn back by pawn. And now there is the move, knight b6, for simplify the position. And let's see if he will play that one or he has other plans in his mind, because he can also play, for example, that one, defending the knight if he doesn't want to to simplify the position, no? Oh, wait. He played the knight on b4. Yes, that's a great move. That's a great move. Because, okay, he says, if you wanna play queen takes on the 8, you can, of course. You can, of course. I take back, obviously. But also, I'm trying to going on c2 with check and taking the rook, no? For example. Queen takes on the 8, knight takes the 8, castle, for example. I can go there and I will win the rook. And now white has a super hard decision. A super hard decision, because one of the most common move that you can do here is queen b3. Queen b3 is another good move, because you're saying, okay, I would like to take in the f7 pawn. And for defending the 7 pawn, you can play just e6, defending also the knight. After that, maybe castle. And yeah, you can play bishop e7, castle for black 2, and yeah, you can continue the game. But queen b3 is a super good move for white. White can also castle, because if, for example, you go there, rook takes, if you play that move, there is knight e3, and after taking that, okay, the position is good for black, but as you can see, you have an extra advantage because the white pieces are totally better than black, are completely developed. Okay, material advantage for Pietro because he's one rook up, but white has a super great advantage in another way. So now depends on what Pietro opponent would like to do. And I also think for playing this move for white, it needs to taking a lot of time because this move can change your game. Can change your game because if you, for example, play a wrong move like, for example, that one, black can just take in there, king takes d1, and yeah, you can just go back, 96. And that's not a problem. White lost castle. If bishop takes there, it's absolutely not a problem because you develop the bishop better. And without the queen is totally not a problem. You can also play long castle with check. Yeah, a lot of good moves for black. And it's a super hard decision. It's a super hard decision for Pietro opponent at the moment. It's a super hard decision. We are at move number 8, and just for this move, game can change. Because there are some tricky moves that black can do in this position. I don't want to say the opponent needs to play super safety, but he has to calculate because if you play a move, you have a plan. If you play another move, you have completely different plans. Normally in the opening, you have to just to develop the pieces, castle, etc. No? And for example, castling in this way can be a good move because, yeah, you're just playing a normal move. Otherwise, if you, for example, put in your mind some strange plans and you say, if my opponent has strange plans and you start overthinking, you can arrive in a situation where you can, I don't want to say blunder, because blunder, it means a super big error, but not playing the more normal moves that he has to play in the opening. You have to continue with normal moves, with normal plans. And yeah, as I said, Pietro opponent start to thinking a lot, and he start to spending a lot of time. As you can see, Pietro spent just 2 minutes from the start. Okay, you have also the increment, but he lost 2 minutes, and his opponent lost close to, okay, not 50 minutes yet, but close to that. And we have just a move number 8. And there is also another thing that I don't know if in this game will happen. When you have to play in front of a camera and you are not comfortable, or you are not yeah, you are not feeling good with the camera, because you can think, okay, if I made a mistake, everybody can check the mistake and everybody can see that I'm doing wrong move and I'm not a good player, etc., etc. And after thinking that, it absolutely means that you will do some mistake. Okay, Pietro opponent seems is close to move, so let's go to the game back. It seems he was close to move. No, he just wrote on the notes. I don't know why. Okay, Pietro finished the breakfast. Let's go, let's go. He's close to move. I'm completely sure. He will move him in some seconds. Yeah, A3. He played A3, really. He played A3. And now black is in a small advantage. Small advantage, what does it mean, small advantage? Small advantage means, okay, he has to calculate, because if you just see the game, you can say, okay, I just can take in the queen, so my opponent will lose the possibility to castle, and that's all, and that's pretty good for us. But the other problem will be where I can replace this knight, because he has just one square. No, after taking, there is just one square. That one. If you wanna play something like that, it's super, super, super hard to play, because yeah, seems not a normal game. Seems not a normal game. And yeah, the problem is replacing the knight, but that problem is there anyway. Because if you have to moving that knight, you have to moving back on a6 anyway, trading the queens or without trading the queens. And trading the queens for us is absolutely better. So I suppose he will go to taking opponent queen. Because taking opponent queen, yeah, I don't see other ways for continue this game. I don't see other ways. Because playing 96, you have to doing that move anyway. You have to do that move anyway. And for example, in all the game played in this way, just once, there are 26 games played in this way. And well, just one game was with bishop e6. I don't know, is between Polina Shulova, 2389, and Maria Muzic, 2540, and white won that game. But if we go back like normal people do and not playing bishop e6 and play queen takes on d1, there are 25 games played by people, played by masters, and in all of that game, now wait, how many games was won by white? One, just one, two, three, 3 to 25. 56% of the game was won by black. The opening was the Sicilian, the Alapin Sicilian. I show you. E4, c5, c3. Okay, this is the most not common move played by people. But the opponent. Knight f6 played by Pietro because he would like to take in the pawn. E5, normal move. Knight d5, normal move. D4, normal move. C takes, E6. No, sorry, D6. I'm so sorry. D6 for trying to destroy the opponent's center because that two pawns are super strong. There is no C4 for attacking the knight, so knight can stay there without any problem. Knight f3 was played by the opponent, by Leonardo. Knight c6 for developing the other knight. Bishop c4 for getting an extra tempo, attacking the knight, developing a piece, getting the opportunity to castle. And here, Pietro took the pawn. D takes. And now there was many options. Knight b6 or the move that Pietro played. So knight b4. Knight b4, it means I would like to go in there. Okay, that's the plan probably. But here, the main move was castle, or queen b3 was the other one. Queen b3 for attacking the f7 pawn. And okay, after, for example, queen b3, e6, a3, he can go back and he has a super strong attack on b7, a good battery for attacking on this diagonal, etc. And yeah, not so good knight on a6 for black. But here white decided to play a3. Wait. They played queen takes and king takes. Yes, exactly. It seems an Anayekin opening. Okay, Pietro has to move as was just one move, so I think he will play immediately the knight on a6. What is doing? No way, 95. No, there is bishop can take on f7. Oh wow. Oh no. Okay, it's not a problem. It's not a problem. It's just one pawn down, and he can maybe going back for trying to attack in the two pawns, and now he has to defend the dead pawn. But b5, yeah, it seems a little bit bad for black, but let's see because, okay, we are just checking the game with the engine, so it's easy for us to understand the position. But let's see if Pietro opponent will go to taking the f7 pawn because, okay, it depends. It seems a logical move, but seems not to hard because you can also start to calculate with a takes on before. Yeah, that seems super good for white. Seems super good, but white can also have some problems because yeah, that pawn probably will be super bad. Black can also not going back on c6, but going on b3. And after rook a3, can take, and he can have maybe the bishop pair and try to getting the not the advantage, but yeah, having a better situation with the bishop pairs. And he is attacking that pawn. But the problem is, now black can't also castle, first of all, and he didn't develop a single piece. This bishop is blocking this diagonal. That bishop, okay, is attacking that pawn, but... And, okay, that pawn is super hard to defend. He needs to play rook d3, but I don't think he will play that one. 99% that one is completely horrible. He can leave just that. He can, for example, just play rook d1, and after this can play that one. Try to checkmate Pietro. And white can try to find some way like that one for entering the black side, into the black side. Okay, we check a lot of moves, but it doesn't mean that the opponent will play that moves, of course. It doesn't mean that. We hope the opponent start to overthink and find some wrong plans for Okay, Pietro opponent seems he's close to move. Seems he's close to move. Well, I don't know if it is really or not. Or he's just calculating it. Because this is a super hard decision. This game is going to be super fast. They traded the queens. They arrive in a position where they can sacrifice the pieces, etc. They arrive into the endgame super fast. Okay, let's check. Pietro is chilling. Pietro is chilling. His opponent is checking also the time because he used 20 minutes, but okay, without the queens. Now it's not so important having less time, but it's important calculating everything because, okay, it took, no way, it take the pawn on f7. Bishop takes on f7. Okay, only move for Pietro here. King takes, of course. Pawn take on b4, and let's see where he replaces the knight. If he goes on b3 or on c6. Because going on c6, as I showed you, it means that the opponent can play b4. b5, sorry. And yeah, that's not so pretty good for us, seeing a pawn on b5, because it seems that he's putting a lot of pressure on Pietro. So that's why probably going on b3 is better than going on c6. And there are no so many other moves, because, for example, going there Yeah, you can do anything. You can do anything on there. So yeah, after that one, you can just go in here. But rookie one for trying to push in the pawn. Maybe that one. Forcing you to trade. Okay, the position, the pawn's position is super bad. But the activities of the pieces for white is super good. Super, super good. So now depends on where Pietro will develop this that knight. I hope he will go on b3 because he's the best one in that situation. Okay, the opponent stand up because he spent a lot of time for calculating. And now it's time to Pietro to calculate. Okay, there are not so many moves, so it's not so hard to calculate which one will be the best one move in this situation. But I think you have to calculate deeply because it's not okay. Oh, great. Knight b3. Knight b3. That's pretty good. Okay, and now we can show, for example, some small advantage for Pietro opponent, but it doesn't means that it is really an advantage. Hello, hello, Cesare. It doesn't mean it is in a really advantage. It's just for the engine, but because the engine also calculating everything, especially for going to the end game. And going to the end game, as you can see, okay, come on, guys, their two pawns are super bad. The only problem here for Pietro is that the king is a little bit unsafe. He cannot castle like his opponent. And yeah, he didn't develop anything, so that's what he has to do. If he find a way for escape from that problem, that will be pretty good for him. Okay, now Pietro opponent is spending a lot of time, but I don't think he has so many times to spend because he doesn't have so many moves to do. The only one is this one. Maybe rook e4, just to prevent e6 for attacking the pawn. But okay, it isn't a problem. So I suppose he will play immediately rook e3 or rook a4. Let's see. Let's see. It seems that he's close to move. Let's see. And also, let's see after, for example, rook a3, because he's saying, okay, Pietro, he has to move the knight. If he will take the bishop, or he will do another move. Because taking the bishop and having the bishop pairs can be the counterattack for Pietro, especially in the middle game and in the end game. But now, I don't know. I don't know. Okay, it's good for us if Pietro opponent spending a lot of time. Okay, I prefer if Pietro opponent doesn't spend a single second because it means that he can do some mistake. But as I said, without the queens, is not so important. Spend so much time and arriving with no time at the end game. Oh, he's spending time. He's spending time. Oh, what's happened? What's happened on the camera? Just a second. Okay, here we are. Wait a second. Wait a second. Okay, here we are. I'm so sorry. I go back. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follow. No, wait. What fucking happened on the camera? It never happened before. It didn't happen before. Oh, wait, really? Okay, guys. I need some seconds because I don't know. I don't know why, first of all. I don't know why the camera overheated. And so there are... Okay, Pietro opponent played rook a3. So now you have the chance for taking the bishop. And I think that the only move he can do. Give me just 1 minute, guys. Just 1 minute. Okay, here we are again. I hope it works now. Otherwise, I continue to comment, yeah, without that. Okay, I'm so sorry for the delay. Pietro took on c1, and that's a great move. That's a super, super, super great move because he has to simplify the position, removing the opponent bishop, or forcing the opponent to take in the knight. I don't know why he's thinking to take in the knight, because it is the only move that he need to do. Okay, if the opponent is also calculating everything else. Oh, because no, wait. Maybe, oh, maybe he can just play, for example, rook e1, because he can say, okay, this knight cannot escape from there, no? Because all the squares where the knight can go are covered. So yeah, there are no ways for escaping from there, no? Because seems normal taking the knight, and to be honest, I think he will play that move because okay, come on, guys, it's normal taking the knight there. But you have also other moves to do. You have also other moves to do. Taking the knight is, well, not the only one, but the better one. The better one. Okay, he took the knight. He took the knight. Knight takes on c1. Knight takes on c1. And now Pietro has multiple options. First of all, yeah, I don't know if playing h6 is a good move because he needs to prevent that move. But the opponent plan can be also playing the rook on e1, pushing the pawn for not allowing to that pawn for developing in that way. But for doing that, he needs to put in another piece or something else for defending the e7 square. And the other problem, yeah, it will be not developing the bishops because this one and that one too, because he cannot pushing the pawn on e6. And that's why probably playing e6 now can be the move. But playing e6 now allow to the opponent to play knight g5. So Pietro needs also to calculate that move. Needs to calculate h6 first of all for trying to playing a waiting move, and that's not a real waiting move because it doesn't allow to making a move to the opponent, so it really helps him. It really helps him. And it's a super hard decision, to be honest, because if I'm him, I don't know if I'm so able to play that move. It's another move to do, and I think now Pietro can start to calculate for finding some some great moves. To be honest, I think I play just e6 because I would like just to take in that pawn. And after, first of all, because after knight g5, okay, oh wait, but I think you can just play something like that also, or maybe just like that also. Mm. It's not so easy because if you play e6, this bishop is out of the game in that diagonal, so you need to play b6 and bishop b7. But if your opponent play knight b5, it's check, and you have two options, or going on g6, but going on g6, for example, white can just play something like that or that. Maybe that can be the move. But after h6, you're forced to going back and you take the pawn back, and now white is black is in advantage. But if you remember that, and if you play, for example, rook g3 for for finding a way, maybe you can take that anyway. Oh, there is knight c3, check, go back, knight g5 again, go back. 94. Okay, it's super hard. It's super hard to find a way for winning instantly. Because after that, there is that one. Yeah, it's... There are a lot of moves. I played a lot of moves. Okay, it's super impossible that the two players will play that order of the moves. But now Pietro, there is more time than the opponent. Oh, he played e6. He played e6. He played e6. Because the plan is easy. Taking the b4 pawn. Taking the... Pietro find Pietro find the weakness, no, of the opponent, that pawn, and he said, I would like just to take in that immediately. I don't want to spend moves or spend so much time for doing that move, because it's normal finding the opponent weakness and going to attack in that. Hello, hello, Paul. Hello, and welcome back. But the problem now, the better move for white here is check. Okay, it's not an immediate advantage because you cannot take in that pawn, you cannot put in the knight there, or you cannot do other good moves. But maybe something like rook d1 for don't find don't allow to black to play a lot of moves. Okay, black now can doing that, but after that there is a super warning for black, no? Welcome back, so. Welcome back, Paul. Welcome back, and now, okay, the opponent played knight on g5. Played knight g5. And now Pietro has to replace the king, and there are two options. Okay, well, to be honest, there are multiple options. Knight e7, knight e8, and knight. King e7, king e8, and king g6. Or king g8 also. Okay, king g8. I don't think he can consider king g8, first of all. I think it's impossible considering king g8 here. Oh, wait, guys, there is a game played in this way. Played with these moves. With this 15 moves order. Is a game played this year, 2025, between Sergio Diaz. Well, let me... Okay, I don't see the complete name. Oh, wait. Knight g5, and he played king e8 in that way. And black won. Black was 2486. Black was 2165. But black won. So after king e8, rook d1, bishop d7. Oh, knight f7. Bishop takes on f4, on b4. Rook d3. Bishop on b5. Knight takes on h8. Takes. And king e7. Yeah, that's pretty good for black here, I suppose. But now depends. Now depends on what Pietro would like to play. Pietro, I think he left the venue, or yeah, I don't know, the venue or just the seat. He need a double breakfast probably. And he has two options that I think he can consider. The first one is going to g6, but it's super hard, and you need to be and feel also super comfortable on yourself to play king g6 because it's a little aggressively, no? And if white consider to play rook g3, that I don't think it's a move that white can play in this moment. You are forced. No, wait, I'm not forced to play anything like that, of course. But I think you will lose that pawn because you can play bishop takes on b4 and knight takes on e6, and white has a super strong passed pawn. But if you don't play queen g6 and you play a more safety king e8, is better because you can continue to putting pressure on the b4 pawn. Your opponent cannot find, okay, you can defend with this way, but you can play, for example, h6, knight f6, and bishop d7, and you start to replace your pieces better than where they are at the moment. And I hope Pietro will consider to play that move and not another one. Okay, calculating this move, it means not just calculating a single move, but calculating also all the other ones too. All the other ones too. And it means spending a lot of time for calculating every single move. Because it's not so easy. It's not so easy. You can say, I can play this for going there and putting the king, okay, into the center, but the queens are out. The knight is not developed. The other rook is not developed. I can try to take in that pawn. But it's super, super and incredibly unsafe, especially because you didn't develop a single piece at the moment. The main focus for Pietro at the moment is developing the pieces. After that, he can consider to playing other things. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the followers, guys. And don't forget also to follow Pietro on YouTube. I give you the link for Pietro YouTube channel. Okay, I can pin the message. Okay, here we are. And yeah, I think Pietro can consider to spend a lot of time, as I said, because he didn't spend times in the opening. They traded the queens. Position seems a little, I don't want to say dangerous, because probably it isn't dangerous. But he needs to play super, super safety at the moment. Otherwise, he can arrive in a bad situation, especially because he didn't develop the pieces. That's probably the main thing, the main problem for black. Otherwise, I will take black for sure. If black has, for example, the bishop here, and I don't know, here, no, here is good, it's too good. In the square like c6 and b6, I choose black 100%, 100%. But he can arrive and he can do that step by step, developing the pieces. It's white has no forcing move or strong attack or yeah, things like that. Especially because we check the game on the database on chess.com and we saw that there is one specific game with this 15 moves order and black won the game. So now you can see +1 for white because he is a 1 pawn up. But it's not a problem because that pawn, this pawn, it's totally unsafe. White will lose that pawn 100% of the times. And yes, black is also attacking that pawn immediately. So he didn't need to do a strange maneuveration of the piece or attacking in more moves. He's attacking in one move. Bishop takes on before. And now, okay, it's check, so he needs to going back. Pietro needs to find knight on e8. Needs to find that move because he's the most natural. I know going back is not the best, but going on e7, it doesn't. Okay, it is a nonsense move because you're attacking the g4 pawn. So playing the king on e7 is a nonsense move. So the only two are king g6, but king g6 I said is totally unsafe because okay, you're attacking the knight, but the knight can go back or the knight can be defended, or rook g3 is totally horrible for black. And yeah, and after that, Pietro can continue to his plan, taking the pawn, putting the pieces out, and after that, the bishop pairs maybe, especially in the endgame, maybe trading the rooks, I don't know, especially in the endgame, are stronger than the knights, no? So having a pawn advantage is not too much. I arrived in a situation in a game that I played 1 year ago where I was like in Pietro opponent's situation. Okay, it's a little bit different because there was not the rooks into the game and less pawns. So I had one pawn up and the knights, and the opponent had the bishops. And the advantage was for black. One pawn down, but with the bishop pairs. So having the bishop pairs and maintain the bishop pairs, not trading the bishop to the knight or trading the knights and the bishops is super important at the moment. I said white has also one pawn up, but is totally not a problem at the moment because he can get that back easily in not so many time. Okay, now Pietro is spending a lot of time. The two players are close to 1 hour each one. But that's pretty cool because they need to find the correct moves at the moment and not play just for the time because they have a lot of time at the moment. And I have also to remember that today this is not the only game that Pietro will play, but there will be also another one that is at 4.5 set time. So it is the Italy time. I don't know where are you from and your and the time in your city, in your country. But in Italy is 4.5 in the afternoon. And I'm super excited to comment also the second game and check also who will be Pietro next opponent. Now we need to be focused on this game. But I'm super excited to see who will be his next opponent. Okay, guys. Pietro is spending a lot of time. I think he can be close to move because I think he could calculate everything and he can arrive into the decision to choosing the correct move for him. And let's see if he will play the king on e8 or not. Or not. Oh, yes. Yes, he go back on e8. He go back on e8. And now the pressure is on white. It is on white because, okay, Pietro can get also an extra tempo move. playing h6 and forcing the opponent to going back. But maybe it's not so bad leaving the knight there because he cannot do anything at the moment, and we doesn't want to leave to the opponent to defending that pawn. Is absolutely better leaving not defending pieces like that, no? Pietro can also find a way for playing. Okay, it's totally impossible to doing that. Bishop here, taking there and going with rook d8 and bishop after taking there here. Okay, no, there is the knight. Come on. King e8, and now, okay, if we continue to analyze the game played by the two strong master that play their exactly order of the moves. Next white move was rook d1. Rook d1, but okay, it's not a master move, so it's not a move that just a super strong player can find, but is also not so fine yeah, not so easy to find. And here, I think for each move, the two players need to spend time for thinking about the situation, no? Because, for example, after rook d1, if Pietro will play h6, there are multiple options for white. He can go here, that I think is better for him. Because the e5 pawn will be not a weakness here, but a solution for white, because he wanted doing that. Black can take in there. Black can take in there. But after, for example, that one... No, wait, he cannot doing that. There is there one, going on e7, and that's totally not a problem. Here is the situation. But well, it all depends, because after knight e5, because knight e5 is completely better than knight f3. Because knight f3 is a move where white, okay, can be safe, but is a more defensive move. Because now you are leaving the opportunity to black to taking the pawn for free without any type of attack. And after that, as we saw before with the knight on e4, then c3, is completely better having a knight on e4, because you can cover that square. And yeah, come on, it's completely different. Anyway, if you play knight e4, you can also play the bishop on d7, and after that you can go here. You can go here. And here, white can also defend the pawn on b4 with rook d4. But okay, it's black has no space here, but it's also super hard to find a solution for him. Yeah, I hope Pietro don't go in a situation like that one. Oh wait, I open, no, sorry. Rook d1. Because after that, the move played by the 2486 was bishop d7. Maybe because he wanna go on c6 just to prevent also the knight on e4 was probably the solution. I don't know. I don't know. But here we are. Here we are, and the Pietro opponent now is going down to a hour. So let's see if he'll find a way for moving fast, or he prefer to calculate everything, because finding all the lines are completely difficult, because it's hard to find the lines with the engine. And okay, rook d1. Rook d1 is the move played by Pietro opponent, so he's playing super well. He's playing super well. I would like to do a thing. Sorry for this. Okay. I would like to check the accuracy for the two players at the moment. Okay, Pietro now needs to think, because he have multiple decisions. He can play the bishop on d7. He can he can play h6. Multiple options. Okay, they played 16 moves, and for the moment, if we do the review, wow, guys, wow, Pietro opponent played 99.2, and Pietro is playing 95.8. Well, maybe I can put in that into the game. But how can I do? Is it possible to do that? Maybe not. Because after every single move, well, I'm a little bit scared to moving something. Okay, let's try to do that. Oh no, yes, correct. Yeah, it's not possible to showing you the accuracy at the moment, unfortunately, but it's super high. The two players are playing a super good game. Seems a super high rated players game. Okay, at the moment into the game, there are 3 people that decided to be not paired. A Grandmaster and an International Master from India. 2 players drew the game. A Master and a Candidate Master. And all the others are still playing, like Pietro. And now Pietro needs to find some moves. Okay, for the engine, okay, he can take immediately that. He can take that immediately. But then move seems super scary. Maybe that one can be good anyway. But now the problem is it can't develop anything. And if, for example, we play that one, this is coming. Oh no, because, well, for example, a random move. No, you can take that. Horrible decision for me. But Pietro can take that pawn. Pietro can take that pawn. The only 2 moves seems are bishop d7 and h6. Their seems are equal. The advantage is close to be equal by the 2 players. And let's see, because Pietro is going to be around an hour, him too. And let's see if he close to move, because it seems he's still calculating. The position is not so easy. And the problem is, if he plays h6, if the opponent will play knight f3, we are super fine. But 94 can be a problem. 94 can be a problem. And you can say, okay, I can play maybe h6 and let's see what my opponent will do, because it's not an immediate advantage that white has with 94. So yeah, he needs also to calculate which can be the biggest problem playing that move. For example, h6, 94. What black can do here? It's super hard to find a way. But because after that, you can do something like this. Oh, there is knight d6 check, take. Oh no, come on. Rook takes the that move, knight c3. Oh, knight c3. b5. Come on, it's super hard now. There is not an immediate advantage. Well, I don't know. I'm just putting some random moves into the game for check if it works or not. Now seems the position is a little bit equal. Okay, but I just putting the moves. There are a lot of moves that the two players can do, so it depends on what they would like to do. And it's not so easy because Pietro needs to calculate a lot for arriving in a good position. And let's see, because I think now Pietro needs to move. Yes, h6, yes. He played h6. Come on. h6. Knight f3. Knight f3. We need to hope that Pietro opponent will play knight on f3. Because knight f3, we are totally safe. No problems with knight f3 because we can take easily that one, and we are not scared about that because we can just doing that, and yeah, that's all. Knight c3. We can also take in there and play b6. And it's not a problem for us if, for example, he will do that. This is another order of moves that the two players can do. But it all starts with knight f3. If the opponent will play knight e4, Pietro can also still play knight e7. And now taking the pawn for free. Because if now he will do that, there is rook c8, knight c3, and rook e4. And that's pretty good, and the bishop is completely strong. There it can be, for example, rook d2, knight takes on b4, and there is now a lot of pressure by black side. It needs to find, okay, first of all, depends on what Pietro opponent would like to play, if knight f3 or knight e4. We said knight f3 is good for black, knight e4 is still equal. It's like now, so it doesn't change anything. And putting one of the moves, did he play? Oh, he played knight e4. Knight e4. Knight e4 is the move played by Pietro opponent. And now Pietro needs to be super focused, because taking the pawn, the b4 pawn, okay, it's not so bad, but you are okay, you are saying, okay, my opponent, you can play that move easily. And he needs to develop the piece. He needs to develop the bishop on d7 now. He needs to doing that. So I hope he can find that move. It's a super hard decision, because seems more natural taking the free pawn, and yes, I think he can do that. It's the most candidate move, taking the pawn, because we also analyze after taking the pawn on b4, just that move. But there are a lot of other moves that white can do. He can play, for example, rook b3, maybe. Not sure if it works or not. But yeah, a5 is coming, and that's pretty good for him. Rook g3, king f7, and now there is knight there, takes, bishop d7, and that's now pretty good for us. So yeah, I think also knight takes on, bishop takes on b4 is another option, because white needs to play super accurate for staying in a super good situation. Probably the most, yes, Pietro is playing, and it seems he has to play bishop takes on. He will play bishop takes on before. Yes, bishop takes on before. Okay, now the situation is equal. The two players has the same situation, but okay, the evaluation bar says, okay, white is better, but he is better, I think, with just that move. He says also rook g3, but to be honest, I don't think rook g3 will be a move. Will be the move that white will play. Seems more a super high-rated player move than rook d3. Rook d3 seems more natural, because you are doubling the rook. You are not allowed to your opponent to develop in the pieces. If, for example, white will play knight there, you can just simplify the position. Okay, no, maybe bishop on d7. And bishop on d7, okay, the pawn is on d6, but to be honest, is absolutely not a problem, because you have that move, rook c8 and and rook c6, you can play the king on f7, doubling the rooks, and you can take that pawn easily, I suppose. Also because that knight is not developed, if the game will go in that way. Because now depends on Pietro, on Pietro opponent, and also Pietro. And also Pietro. And also Pietro. Super hard decision for the two players. And for example, if knight there, Il Pietro will go here. There is another option to play that move. And now maybe that one. Oh no, there is knight f5. Knight f5 check is the KO move. So it's not playable. Okay, let's see. Let's see if it will play rook d3. Rook d3, we said, is super strong because he's attacking that. This file, the d file, and black cannot develop the bishop. And I think is a problem. I think is a problem. But this situation is, oh yeah, yo, welcome back. I'm pretty good. I hope you're good too. We analyzing Pietro game that is playing against a 17-23 Elo, but he's playing super well. He's playing super well, and he's playing also super accurately. So it's not easy for Pietro playing this game, because if your opponent is playing every single perfect move, it's super hard for everyone playing against that type of guy. Okay, the Pietro opponent is playing 96 check. Okay, that's a great move for us, because 96, as you can see, the evaluation bar is going up because Pietro can take the knight. Yes, to analyze this, and bishop d7. Because you're also opening the... Oh, wait. You're also opening the rank for the rook for going to the c file. And after that, maybe putting the rook on c6. And after rook c6, rook f7, rook c8, rook b6, rook b6, the other rook on c6. And the game... Okay, it's not over, of course, because white has to play too. But it's super good for him because, for example, knight d2, rook c8, knight... No, wait. Rook b1, rook b1, king b1, rook c6. Oh no, there is a pawn on e7. Come on, what I'm saying. After that, a6. a6, rook b3. That one. Knight f3, rook c6. Oh, there is knight e5. We have to prevent that one. Rook c5, so rook c5 to prevent knight e5. Okay, there are a lot of moves. It's super hard. They will arrive in that situation. But first of all, Pietro needs to take in the knight, because taking the knight, as you can see, let's see, 1.3 here, and after that 0 0.2, 0 0.1, 0 0.2. So position now seems to be equal, but the problem is that Pietro needs to play perfectly, needs to play all the correct moves. He has the time. He needs. He must have to spend the time that he has, because other moves are, the second one is king e7, And here there are multiple options because remember this rook is hanging at the moment, so okay, he can remove the rook from there. It's not possible to play bishop d7 because there is knight f5 and it's totally good for white here. Okay, it's not lost, but come on. Come on. And after that, if the opponent will take here, is incredible. Okay, it's not possible that the opponent will play that move. Which can be other moves, rook f3 for arriving there. That's a pretty good move. And that's why Pietro needs to play rook f8. The rook, there is that one because after that it's super bad decision for black. Yeah, a lot of strange moves. So the most can you? Oh wait, they move the clock. Yes, of course. Oh yes, of course. Let's go. Sorry for that. Here we are. Okay, the time control is close to be equal by the two players. 51 to 52 minutes for each one. But it's super hard position. It's a super hard position because, okay, it's not possible making mistakes as you... okay, mistakes is maybe too much. But incorrect moves. Incorrect moves is better. Okay, it's better. It's better to say that, of course. Pietro needs to find bishop takes on d6, but I think he can be also scared to rook takes there. Because after that and that, seems... Okay, you lost, first of all, the bishop pairs, first of all. You can go back. King e7, and you can just simplify the position with rook d8 after that. And the game probably will be draw if it goes in that way. But all start with bishop takes on d6. Bishop takes on d6 is the move that Pietro needs to find. It's not so bad also playing the king on e7, but you have the same problems that you have now. Maybe he doesn't want to... Because I think he's calculating, because the problem is to taking on d7 is, okay, I'm still playing with the bishop pairs at the moment, but if I takes, I lose the bishop pairs. And I doesn't want to... Yes, king e7. King e7 is the move. Let's go. Is the move played by Pietro. King e7. It's not so bad. It's not a mistake. It's not a problem. Absolutely, because it's maintaining the bishop pairs. Then the opponent has the knight pair. And the problem for white is he didn't... Okay, he has a completely strong knight here. But he hasn't developed the other ones. So that's the main problem for him. Okay, he take a break. Okay, it's super good taking a break because if you are in a deep deep concentration, you need to taking a break for, yeah, going outside or continue your breakfast. Also continue the breakfast. Oh, what's happened? Oh, wow. Guys, seems something happened with the live stream. Oh, no way. No way. Let me check if it's my problem or a problem with yeah, it's my problem. It's my fault. I don't know what's happened. Oh no, 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 no. It's not my problem. Live stream is not working at the moment. Then we cannot check all the last part of the game. Wait, I have to send a message. Then, well, without the informations, seems impossible to continue. But let's try. Well, I think is an internet connection problem from the venue. So, well, let's see if it works in the next minutes. We can, okay, first of all, we can start to analyze the game. Analyze the game. I can tell you the accuracy at the moment. Accuracy at the moment, I suppose, is super high for white and also for black because he's still playing super good. Okay, 94.5 for white and 93.3 for black. 93.3 for black. So it's a super good game. White did a mistake playing that move. The last one. This one. Maybe I can show you also. How can I do that? Not show legal moves. How can I say that's good or not? Maybe I can during the live stream, during the game. Maybe yes. I can just after playing and click on review. Because the knight here is a mistake. Is a question mark move. But king e8 is a good move by black, and also, okay, taking the queen on d1 was also good. Okay, here we are. Please, please check the live stream. Someone in the venue, check the live stream and see that it is not working. That's the only way for continue to see the game, otherwise will be impossible. I suppose here the next move for white will be rook d3. I don't think he will play other moves than that. Okay, there are other moves, but they are not logical, no? Or not human. There are maybe some moves made by someone by the engine, but come on, it's an engine move, not a human move. Not a human move. Okay. Video is died. Video is died. So, let's see if it works in few seconds, but I think also the problem now is that he gave me a link, and now that link is not working, so yeah, it's impossible. It's impossible. Or someone see something during the game and say, hey Pietro, please go to check your live stream because it is not working, or it will be impossible to see because he needs to send me another link. Come on, come on. Okay, let's try to see the game from the start. Okay, what is happening? Wait, okay, e4. Pietro opponent is close to him. 1723 elo. c5 is the move played. Wait, come on. Wait a second. I need to refresh the page. c5, c3 is the move played by Pietro opponent. I don't know what's happening on my screen. Is totally not working good. Knight e5, d4, c takes on d4, and c takes on d4. That was the moves order played by the two players. d6, after that knight f3, c6, knight c6, good move, super good move. Bishop c4, normal move for not losing a tempo, also gaining a tempo. Moving the bishop, allowed to castle next move, attacking an opponent piece that is hanging. So opponent, Pietro needs to move that immediately or finding a way for staying in a good situation. And he found the best move here, that was d takes e4, d takes e5. D takes c5 was the move played by Pietro opponent. So now two pieces are attacking the knight and just once is defending the knight. So Pietro needs to find a move for saving the situation. Knight d b4 is the move because he said, okay, I would like to say, okay, would you like to castle? I will take, rook take, and I go there and I will win the rook. Opponent played a3. A3 is the move played by Pietro opponent. Is not the best one because playing a3 it allows to Pietro to taking the opponent queen. Good move play by Pietro. And king take on d1. King take on d1 is the move played by white. He lost the possibility to castle. Position seems equal. As you can see, the evolution bar says 0.0 with white that that don't have the chance for castling because the black problem is the bishop developing. As you can see, now he's forced into moving the knight because pawn is attacking the knight. But Pietro find a way for not moving the knight, and the move was attacking the opponent bishop. Attacking opponent bishop says, okay, would you like to take in there? I will take your bishop, and I have the bishop pair, and you don't have the bishop pair. Bishop takes on f7. Great move played by Pietro opponent. That go there. Wait, maybe I can put in the names also. And let's see if we can move. Yes, we can. Okay, because now there are also the name of the two players. King takes on d1. 95. 95 is the move. Bishop takes on f7. And why bishop takes on f7 is a so good move. Is a so good move. Is a so good move because after that, king takes the bishop. King take the bishop, and it's pretty good. Of course, it's the only move that Pietro could do. And here the move was forced. A pawn takes on b4. A pawn takes on b4 means knight b3. Knight b3 is the move that put Pietro opponent in the situation for moving the rook. Otherwise, he will lose the rook. Rook a3. And Pietro says, okay, I'm attacking your bishop, and now what would you like to do? Because I'm taking your bishop. King takes on c1. Okay, I said here there was more possibilities because there was the possibility to play that move, for example. King takes on c1 because, yeah, why? White could play the rook on d1. Rook on d1, why? Because that knight is completely, totally, and completely blocked. It cannot be developing any single square, otherwise white can take the knight easily. And so Pietro opponent decided to take in there immediately. He doesn't want to losing tempo or playing other moves, because also he has the square for putting the rook on the d5. Putting the rook on the d file after e6 and okay, no. Okay, was not the move played into the game, sorry. Because during the game was played e6 by Pietro, because e6 allow to take in that pawn immediately, because bishop can take the pawn. But here there was their move h6, okay, was probably an engine move, not a human move, for not allowing to Pietro opponent to play that move. And if black could play the pawn on h6, there is rook e1 for pushing the pawn there. Not immediately, of course, but in few moves. But into the game has been played e6. Knight g5 check. Normal move for putting the opponent. So in this case, Pietro in the situation to saying, okay, would I like to play the king on g6 or the king on e8? There was also, I said during the live stream, also g8 and e7, but okay, e7 is not so good because you're blocking the diagonal for the bishop, and also on g8 is not so good because you are saying, okay, the rook on h8 will never enter into the game. So the move played by Pietro here with that multiple option to be played is king e8. King e8 is pretty good, is pretty cool. Why? Because you're putting your opponent to the decision to play which move. Move played by Pietro opponent is rook d1, because with rook d1 you are covering all the file and you have also the chance for putting the other rook into the same file and doing a super strange attack. But Pietro plans was different. He decided first of all to play h6. Why h6? Because he said, I would like to remove the knight from the g5 square because it seems super strong. So h6, and Pietro opponent had two chances. Unfortunately, he chose the better ones because he could put the knight on f3. There was our choice. We prefer to see knight f3, but he didn't do that. He played correctly the knight on e4. Knight e4 is super strong because it's not possible to be attacked at the moment from black, first of all, because the bishop is still on c8. Okay, you can do that and that, but white play too. So b6 is an opportunity here, but better than b6 was bishop d7, but another good move chosen by Pietro was bishop takes on b4. Why is so good? It's easy to understand. First of all, because you are saying, okay, now the pawn structure, no, not the pawns, the numbers of the pawn are exactly the same. And now Pietro can have the possibility to play on the on the queen side pawns, so it means the B and A, because in that two file, he has two pawns against just once. Okay, it's a long-term choice, of course. He cannot do that immediately because there are also the rook into the game, a lot of other things, etc., etc., etc. And here, Pietro opponent didn't play the best move. In my opinion, finding that move is not human. Not human. Best move was rook g8. Wait, why play that move? The late move. Rook g3 was the move played by... No, was not. Was the best move in the best situation from white for white. Why? Because he's attacking the g7. Of course, it's easy to understand. But here, black can play easily king f7. And okay, it's easy to find a way for saying, okay, I would like to move in the rook on g3 here, then on d3 that seems the most natural move here, the rook on d3, because you're putting the rook into the file, you're attacking the d8 square, you're attacking the rook if you can arrive on the d8 square. There are multiple options that you can do here, but in their situation, Pietro opponent decided to play a not good move. Not good, it doesn't mean it is a mistake, but it is not the best one, because now, as you can see, the evaluation bar is going up, so it means now the position is close to be equal. And after that, Pietro has two chances. The two chances are yeah, not equal but close to that, but 10 times better to all the others, of course, because first of all is check. Playing something like king f8 is totally a mistake. Because first of all, there is rook f3 check, and you're forced to move in the king. If you go, for example, there now, it's terrible because your opponent can play rook f7. You leave to your opponent to going to f7, and that's terrible. It's a terrible news. And yeah, after going on d8 here, okay, I think white can do everything he wants, like taking that pawn and winning the game easily. But fortunately, Pietro had two chances. I said taking the knight was the best one. Taking the knight. Because after knight takes on d7 and a rook takes, he can go on d7 easily. And after going on d7, okay, oh, the opponent can double the rook, but you can just go in there, playing the king e7 and play the rook on d8, simplify the position, arriving into an endgame. Not so easy because it's bishop versus knight. But yeah, it's the best thing that you can do in that situation. Okay, maybe playing the bishop here now is not so good because the rook can take. You need to play the key. No, wait, come on, you're losing the piece now. No, on b5. Sorry, not on c7. On b5 because you can take there f7, and the position is still equal at the moment. Okay. Bishop d3. And that one was the plan. And so that's why play g4 is needed now. Check. No, he cannot. He needs to doing this. Okay, this game is crazy at the moment. Oh yes, they could repeat that position. But okay, game didn't go in that way. Has been played the king on e7. I have to delete a lot of moves. King e7, and here we are. And I'm trying to check if we can go back into the game, because unfortunately without that we can check the game the two players are playing. Okay, I'm focused also on the website for seeing if the two players results came. So Yeah. Let's go back. Let's go back and see the game from the start again. Sicilian defense, but with c3. With c3. Uh, strange move. Okay, not so strange. I'm not a Sicilian player. But every time that I check and I see the Sicilian defense, every single time, I see the move knight f3. Every single time. So, Sing c3 now, it's strange. It's strange. No? Knight f6, e5, knight d5, and d4 was the move played by the two people. King takes, knight e5, and knight e5 um was a super strange move. Probably Pietro didn't saw bishop takes on f7. Probably. Not sure, but probably. Because after that and that, e6. And now, yeah, there was the multiple choice for Pietro, and yeah, he found the current move to do. Oh, nobody into the at the venue said anything to Pietro. I don't know, to be honest, because when I sometimes do the same thing. It means I also share my games that I play online, but it's super hard that the arbiters allow you to touch in your mobile because okay, they say, oh, if you touch your mobile, you're cheating because you can check your game. Come on, guy. If you see me touching the mobile, how can I cheat? And that's why sometimes it happened to me maybe just one or two times. And I said to the arbiter, I don't want, because he said me, you can touch the mobile, but if your opponent want to claim the win, he can. And I said, okay, come on, I doesn't want to doing that, of course. I doesn't want to doing that before, of course. Well, now it's super hard to guess what move will be played by the two players because we need to have some information. And yeah, the only way is that one of the people, because when you stream and you leave your mobile there, sometimes happen then that there's someone go to check the live stream. And if they check the Pietro is not still online, they can say to him or to the arbiter, oh guys, Pietro is not online. So yeah, now depends on what's happening. Because probably the game will be a little bit longer. Yes, he's not live. He's live. He's playing, but he's not still live. It means the live stream. We cannot check the moves because he has no rigidity board. So we need to follow the live stream for from his mobile or of camera. And unfortunately, he go offline from some minutes, and so now it's super hard to find the moves because White has a lot of moves and the game can continue for long time. Yeah. I'm saying that I'm checking also on the website of the tournament if the result is coming because we was also 15 minutes later because there was a delay. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to do because we are at move 18. We are just at move 18 and probably the game will be longer than that. Of course will be. Or the two players decide to drawing easily. Or otherwise will be. So let's see. Let's see if it works in the next minutes or we have to find something to do. I have to take a plane for going to Rome and check what's happened. But I think when I arrive, if I am at the airport at the moment, I think I can arrive to check the game before the game ends. Because from me, it's like 1 hour, something like that. And that's probably the only chance for knowing the moves order, because I think games will be longer and they will play for more than an hour or really more than 2 hours also. Okay, the game is close to be into the end game because there are no the queens into the game. They can easily trade the pieces if they want. Knight can take on c8, rook can take, bishop can take on d6, pawn or rook can take. Because, for example, now, well, let's try to putting a random move. That one, no? You can take. Okay, no, well, yes, of course, you can take the. Okay, but for example, that one, you can take. If rook takes, you can play rook d8, takes, go here, and the game is pretty equal. And maybe the two players can decide to draw the game. But this is just once of the chance for the two players, not to doing the order of the moves. They can also can think, okay, I'm playing a super good tournament and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling pretty good. Uh, I think I can win the game, and probably that's the good mode to do. Okay, talking about Pietro opponent, let's check the page the page of the participant name, Leonardo Guerini. Easy starting number 32. He's from Italy, of course. 1723. He's from Bologna, where is from the lasagna. And now he's in the position number 27 with 2.25 out of 5. Performer rating is 1855, so he's playing super good. And rating charge is +7. In the first game, he lost against a candidate master 21-27. He lost also against a guy 1946. And he won 2 games in a row against a 1802 Luigi Ardu, the player that Pietro won against yesterday. And also Fabio Colibri 1730 in game number 4. But yesterday afternoon, he lost against a 2029 candidate master. And now it's time to playing against Pietro. Pietro, for the people that didn't check his game previously, played 5 games before that one. And in the first one, he won an incredible game against a candidate master 2094. An incredible game. Let me check how many points that the player has. That player has 2.5 now. And he lost against just Pietro and a FIDE master. And yesterday he drew against the master. National master. Pietro lost, unfortunately, 3 games in a row against a 2087, so a super strong player. Another super strong player, 2142, and yesterday in the morning against a 1981 from France. But yesterday in the afternoon, he won. He won again against a 1802 player. And yeah, that guy. What we can do? We check the game 2-3 times. And I think nobody said him that he's not live. Yeah, I cannot check the game. And it's impossible. It's impossible to guess the moves, no? It's impossible to guess the moves. My hope is that in the chat, Pietro comes saying, oh, I won the game because my opponent blundered. But it's super hard at the moment. It seems super hard. Because in my opinion, there are just 2 chances for this game. First of all, they just draw easily fast and they simplify the position and they can decide to draw the game. Or the 2 players would like to playing a super long game, and playing that type of game can be long, first of all. But wait, I'm also trying to think if Rook F8, sorry, is a good move. Yes, it is, because we're attacking that pawn. And after that, just Bishop D7. Bishop D7, if he goes there, Rook can take, and Rook F8 or A8. It's not a problem. We're attacking their pawn, and now we cannot defend with F4. Oh, wow. Well, depends. I think the best thing to do is waiting some minutes. And if Pietro doesn't come, or I have no chance for For checking the game, I can maybe show you the game, not now because I don't know the moves, but maybe in the afternoon before the other game. Before the other game. I think can be a good solution. Otherwise, I can show you the games 2, 3, 4, 10 times, but it's always the same. Yeah, the live stream is not the live stream. The video is not working because probably he lost the connection. And I hope someone during the game said to him, "Oh, your live stream, your link, your video is not working." And now, unfortunately, there is no DGT board where we can check the moves, and it's impossible to to saying the moves. No, the game finished to be streamed like 30 minutes ago, so I have not the chance for telling you the moves, unfortunately. And my best idea is uh, telling you the moves, not now, but maybe before the seventh round in the afternoon. What do you think about that? Because if for you is okay, because um it's not so many chance to get in the moves, so I don't find another way for continue telling you the game because it's always the same. Maybe I can tell you if I see the results, but if I see the results, probably Pietro will go to the live stream before for saying something. I don't know. I don't know. Probably the internet connection there is is not so good, and that's why I lost the connection. And that's the problem, because if you lose the internet connection, zero chance to getting into the game again. If someone says to Pietro, yes, you lost the connection, maybe you can check that, or the arbiter can check that and putting a new. Oh wait, what's happened now? Okay, sorry. Then now, but if nobody says him that anything, it's impossible. It's impossible. Okay, to be honest, if I have to bet about the result of this game, I said there are two chances. Or they simplify the position easily and arrive in a probably drawing position at the end. Or they can decide to play a lot of other moves, but playing a lot of other moves, it means the game can be super 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 long. Okay, I hope, as I said, I hope Pietro will go to the chat in the chat and saying, "Oh, I won in 1 minute," and that's pretty good because we can also know the moves, and I can also show you the moves now or in the afternoon. Otherwise, we have to wait we have to wait for see what's happened. Because that was the position where Pietro has played the king on e7, and now was the white choice for finding something to do, no? When they started to play at 9.5, so it means now it's 12 and 9 minutes, so close to 3 hours. Hello, 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 hello. Here we are, guys, and unfortunately, I cannot tell you more than that. That's super bad. But we can see the game for the people that arrived just now for understand how is the position. Because the two players played e4, Leonardo played e4, and Pietro played c5, so the Sicilian. I don't know if you know the Sicilian good or not, but yeah, it's one of the most common opening in the chessboard. I think the most played. But here the opponent didn't play knight f3 like always people do, but he played knight f3. So sorry, say he played c3. Knight f6, e5. He pushed the pawn on e5. Push the pawn on e5 was the only move to do here. Knight e5 and d4. And like one of you said previously, seems an Ayekin opening with a different order of the moves. After that has been played c takes on d4 and c takes on d4. Normal moves. Okay, normally if you have a pawn on c5, you push on c5 because you want to break the center, but no chance for doing that now. So d6, best move played by Pietro, and knight f3, because the opponent would like to develop in the pieces, and seems normal to do here. Knight c6 was the move chosen by Pietro, and he continued with bishop c4. Bishop c4 was the move played by Pietro opponent, and that's a normal move here because allows to him to not losing a tempo. Is attacking, as I said, the knight. So black needs to find a solution for that, and he moved a piece, and he had the opportunity to castle at the moment, so a multi-option move. Pietro decided to take him on e5, good move, and the opponent decided to take him back on e5 again. So now there is that strong pawn that seems like an isolated pawn, but for the moment it is super strong. It can become not so strong at the end, but for the moment is pretty strong. Knight b4. Okay, here there was two possibilities. Knight b6 or knight b4 was the two moves that, or also, okay, there was also bishop e6, but come on, guys. Nobody played bishop e6 here. As I said, there are the two options, knight b4 or knight b6. And here, Pietro decided to play knight b4. Knight b4 was the move chosen by Pietro. The opponent decided to play e3, and that was pretty strange because I said, okay, he played bishop c4 because he would like to castle, no? So, okay, Blake is trying to get into c2, but to be honest, there is no chance for doing that move at the moment. At the moment, of course. So, thank you so much. Sorry, I don't understand. Oh, yeah, yeah. 2 hours, more than 2 hours, more than 2 hours, and we spend 1 hour without the live stream because unfortunately the as you can see, you cannot see Pietro now because the live stream fell down and we cannot follow him. So we arrived just in a moment for seeing the moves. And now I'm showing you the moves played by Pietro and we can arrive just into the moment when the live stream fell down, and we hope he continued well. And we were waiting him into the chat, and if we arrive into the chat saying, "Oh, I won the game," we are super happy about that. So let's continue. What's happened? Knight b4 for attacking the c2 pawn square, but to be honest, it's not a problem because white can castle easily. No, you play the bishop on c4 for castling, and now the normal move to do is castle. But he didn't castle. He played a3. a3, okay, it's not a mistake, it's not a so horrible move to do, but can be an inaccuracy giving to Pietro the opportunity to play the most normal move to play here. Queen takes on d1, giving to the opponent not to having the chance for castling because he, okay, of course, has to take in the queen back. So king take on d1, and now there was two chances. The first one is going on a6, but you can say, okay, going on a6 is so horrible because bishop can take, b takes on a6, but there is the chance for putting the bishop on b7, putting d6, and having, okay, a double pawns there. But I don't think it's so horrible. I don't think it's not so horrible, but okay, I'm just analyzing the game with engine, so I can just say, okay, that's easy, tack, 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 and that's easy not to do. The other move, the second one for the engine, and I hope, and I think the most human move to do in this position is 95. Because, okay, you're saying, okay, you would like to take in that knight, I will take your bishop. And I have the bishop pair. And as I said, the problem now for black is developing these pieces. Because, yeah, white has not castle, but he can also play the rook on e1 easily. But he has a strong pawn, he developed two pieces, then just once. But okay, takes. They have the same pawns in the same situation. But here, white found the best move that he could do. A super good sacrifice that, in my opinion, I don't know if Pietro found during the game, because he took on f7, and took on f7, he gained a pawn for free. King takes on f7, and now also, black cannot castle. So the two players are in the same situation. Pawn takes on b4. Here, if we go back on c6, there was b5 there, putting two strong pawns on the b5 and e5. So it's a little bit unsafe for him playing that move. So he played correctly the knight on b3, attacking the bishop and attacking also, of course, the rook, because he would like to take in the rook if he can. So knight b3, normal move here for white was rook e3, rook a3. He takes the bishop and he took the knight, and that's all. That was the situation. And as you can see, I said to you previously, black didn't develop anything. All the pieces except the king is at the starting point. White has a super strong pawn. Okay, he has double pawns, a rook on a3, but he has a super strong pawn that he can push, not now, but maybe in the future, playing something like rook e8, rook e1, and knight b4, and pushing the pawn on e6, and now can be a problem for black. And also taking on c1 by king, you have also the chance for putting a rook into an opening file. the d file is completely open at the moment, and white can put in the rook there without losing tempo, without having a king on g1, on c1 without the queens are totally better because you can enter into the game, into the center easily than having the king on g1, no? Because now it's not important castle, to be honest. But here there was more than a single option, more than one single option. And he could play h6 to prevent a knight g5 check, or also playing the move that he chose to play during the game because Pietro decided to play e6. Playing e6 give him the chance for attacking the pawn and arriving with the same pawn and having the same pawn each other because he's attacking the pawn directly. But the problem is always black didn't develop the pieces. So knight g5 check, and I said there are multiple options. The blue and green arrows are bad. Okay, it's check, and I said you can go on e7 because if you go on e7, the bishop cannot take the pawn on b4. So you doesn't want that. After because after their move king e7, you have also to move the king on e8, for example, and for going to e7 and e8, you can move on e8 immediately. Going on g8 by king is always not so good because going on g8, come on guys, you're saying the h rook never enter into the game, and you doesn't want that, no? And that's why you are not doing that move. The other two are, let's do that with another, which is the other one? Maybe control. Yes, let's go. Going on g6 is super and incredible and safe because you're saying, okay, I would like to attacking your knight, but attacking knight doesn't mean anything because he can replace the knight, he can go back, he can defend with f4, with other moves. It's not necessary going back, but you have a king on g6 that cannot go back on f7 and cannot go on f6. So it's pretty unsafe staying there because after that your opponent can play the rook on g3, and rook g3 is completely dangerous because you are forced to put in the king in the center of the game, and you also lose a pawn, first of all, because there is knight takes on e6. Well, the only move that Pietro could do was king e8, and was the move that Pietro played, king e8. Now, as I said you previously, the move played by white was rook d1 because he said, okay, I want to control the file, and for controlling that file, I can also put in all the rooks on that file. I don't care about the pawn on b4 because it is a double pawn, so I can lose that one if I can getting an advantage. After all, getting an advantage in that way, it means if I can arrive to d8 is super strong because you cannot escape from the f7. You are forced to play the king on e7. And if I found a way for removing your dark square bishop, okay, I don't want to say the game is won, but is totally better for white. So yeah, that's probably the white idea to play the rook d1. But Pietro playing correctly, he played h6, forcing to going back, yet to chance to going on e4 or f3. And as I said, going on f3 is better for us because it cannot having a single attack. It cannot do anything. It cannot do... He has no chance. It can do anything. It can do anything. But unfortunately for us, the opponent played the knight on e4. And here there was multiple options. Here we are at move 17. And there was just one game played by people. No, wait, no. Here, move 15, move 16 was the move that was into the database. Because in the database there was a game played by masters where the people arrive in that exactly position with the exactly order of moves. But unfortunately, in that game, the master didn't play h6 like into the game, but he played the bishop on d7. So after that, everything changed. But bishop d7 was a move that Pietro could play in that position, but he decided another great move, good move. There was bishop takes on before, because he said, I would like to getting my pawn back. I would like to arriving in the same situation. And now there was the chance for Pietro, because the opponent played the first inaccuracy of the game, because first of that, he was playing a 99 or, yeah, I checked not the moves before, but one or two moves before, and the accuracy for white was 99%. Incredible, seems Carlsen is playing. But here, after a lot of moves, white made an inaccuracy because he played the knight on d6. As you can see, the evaluation bar go up, so it means that black have more opportunities from there. And the last move that we saw after, yeah, crashing the live stream was king e7. King e7 was the move. King e7 was the move. And here we are. Here we are, and I have no other information from there. And we try to calculate which can be the best moves for white, and we hope Pietro opponent didn't play it, like rook d3. Rook d3 for having a super strong attack in that way. b6 for, okay, first of all, not allowing to take in that pawn for free, and second one's for developing the bishop for attacking the opponent rooks. And yes, that could be an idea. Another idea for white is playing the rook on f3, because the plan is going on f7 for taking the pawn and probably winning also the game. If black doesn't do a rook f8, trading the rooks, takes, and now I think game is equal. Here seems there is also a rook g3, but come on. Okay, first of all, finding a rook f3. Okay, it's a move that people can find, but after rook f8, how many people play rook g3? I think is more common play something, the other rook there, or well, I don't know. I don't know how many, which, yeah, okay, of course, taking is another option. But going back on b3, come on, it's totally impossible. Completely impossible. But we just analyze the move on d3 and move on f3. 1 and 2, 1 and 2. There is also rook b3 immediately, without doing the moves that I said you previously. And yeah, I think that's all. I think that's all. I think that's all. I'm trying to check if something's changed, like the results came out or link as fixed. And there are not so many games that was finished into the tournament, just 3. A draw that finishes super early. 17-0-0-100, Beta 1946, and Ardo Luigi, the player that lost against the 2 players that we are watching, Leonardo and Pietro, today won. Yes, today he won. He won against another guy from Switzerland, Remo Steiner, 1774, and all the others are still playing. So it's a super long. Well, I don't know, to be honest, if the people arrive getting the increments after move number 30. Let me check. Blah, blah, blah. Time control. Where is the time control? I don't see the time control on the flyer. Let me check again. Oh, no. Time control is 90 plus 30. No increments at move number 40. No increments. So games will be not so long, probably. Yeah, we are streaming from 3 hours. 3 hours. 3 hours. Crazy. Yeah, guys, I don't know. Probably game will be a long game, and maybe they need 1 hour more or something like that. I don't know. But I have no info, so thank you so much for everyone that stay here for sharing the game, and we will see later at 4.5, so in 4 hours from now. And we hope Pietro won the game. I ask also to Pietro to sharing me the moves so we can check the game before the next round, so we can check if Pietro won, lose, or draw. And thank you so much.